President of WIFO says the management of Port Coupcoy is totally ignoring the rights of the workers. Minister of VSR says there's been initial discussion with the Netherlands regarding getting the vaccine. And Prime Minister of St. Martin updates the media about the third tranche of liquidity support for the island. Those are the headlines for Thursday, November the 19th, 2020. Good evening, viewers. Welcome to SXM Daily News. I am Valerie Van Putten, and as usual, we have a full newscast for you, so let's get started. In our first story, Prime Minister of St. Martin, the Honorable Sylvania Jacobs, offered an update and addressed the issue of the negotiations for the third tranche of liquidity support for St. Martin at Wednesday morning's Council of Ministers weekly press briefing. The Honorable Prime Minister said that she expressed St. Martin's continued willingness to maintain open lines of communication and re-establish negotiations.
I'd like to also offer an update on the negotiations for the third tranche of liquidity support with the Netherlands. On Wednesday, November 11th, St. Martin Day last week, I was able to secure a virtual meeting with the State Secretary Raymond Knops and both of our support staffs. During this meeting, I expressed St. Martin's continued willingness to maintain open lines of communication and to re-establish the negotiations on the third tranche for liquidity support. All this in keeping with the fact that we had been approved to continue to have the discussions in the last Kingdom Council of Ministers meeting after a positive advice from the CFT. The discussions to continue to have these negotiations is also in keeping with the motion of Parliament of July 8th that mandates the government of St. Martin and my person to continue to engage in negotiations on liquidity support with the Netherlands. Of course, due to the prolonged negotiations on the second tranche, we were not able to start our negotiations up until recently. The meeting with the State Secretary marked essentially the beginning of the negotiations on the third tranche. Immediately after, contact was made with our cabinet of the plenipotentiary minister in The Hague. Arrangements were made to have the technical meetings related to our concerns, questions, etc. about the Kingdom law establishing the Caribbean Reform Entity and the proposed structural reforms that are necessary to increase the sustainability of St. Martin. These country packages or reforms that were proposed by the Netherlands are, so this was presented as country packages to St. Martin as it was to all of the other countries. And we as St. Martin were able to provide feedback on and make proposals as to how they can be enhanced. So the proposals to fit the needs of our people in our situation, taking our culture, taking our real small island development status into account. The discussions held this past Friday and Monday were very amicable and open, which is very commendable seeing all that had gone on before. Parties were able to engage in healthy discussions and much information was shared on both sides. The information provided served to clarify the main aspects that were unclear in the Kingdom law. These aspects we will be able to share once we have received the final written communication from the Netherlands on the feedback and proposals provided. That is expected today, Wednesday, in writing, after which our technical teams will then be following up, and I will continue to update the people of St. Martin accordingly.
And now in news out of the Netherlands, despite the increasing number of COVID-19 infections, Curaçao does not have to fear yet that the Dutch are being discouraged by their government to travel to the island. Curaçao is code yellow and remains code yellow, just like Bonaire. Aruba is code orange and will soon turn yellow. St. Martin is orange and will remain orange, said the Dutch Prime Minister Mark Rutte during a debate in the second chamber of the Dutch Parliament on corona policy. The Prime Minister reacted negatively to the call by Member of Parliament Evan van Esch, Party for the Animals to issue a negative advice also for trips to the Caribbean parts of the kingdom. For 2 weeks now, negative travel advice has been in place for foreign countries, with the exception of the Caribbean part of the kingdom. We see a run on airline tickets to Curaçao, while infections are increasing there. For the motion, we are not sensible about this exception and are asking the Cabinet to withdraw it. I am considering submitting a motion, Van S. continued in her speech. Rutte denied that it is contradictory to discourage travel abroad and to allow travel to the Caribbean. We have chosen to say, stay in the Netherlands, and the Netherlands is also the kingdom. The Netherlands is also Curaçao, Aruba, Sint Maarten, Sint Eustatius, Saba, and Bonaire, said the Prime Minister. With amazement, Antje Diertens of the D66 party expressed her surprise that Curaçao has code yellow and Aruba code orange. How does the minister view the number of infections in Curaçao? Curaçao is yellow, but Aruba is orange with fewer infections. That is inconsistent. When are we going to test incoming travelers who can enter via air, land, and sea? Diertens and her fellow party members, Jan Paternota, had also submitted written questions about this. Very worrying. Rutte acknowledged that the situation in Curaçao is worrisome, but emphasized that firm measures have been taken by the government to prevent the spread of the virus. He referred to the Dutch National Institute for Public Health and the Environment, RIVM, which continuously monitors developments on the island, but currently sees no reason for negative travel advice for Curaçao. And now, in other news, back on Sint Maarten, Minister of Romy, the Honorable Egbert Doran, addressing the media at the Council of Ministers' weekly press briefing on Wednesday, said that he has been working diligently to find a temporary solution for the many potholes in the community. The minister also elucidated on building permits. According to the Minister of Romy, they have seen a significant increase in building permit requests.
Today, I would like to inform the general public that the Department of Infrastructure Management has been working diligently to find a temporary solution for the potholes in the various districts. This has been done along with the project for the upcoming road maintenance, which has been in the works for some months now. The tender was awarded in September of 2020. Due to the heavy rainfall experienced in the past weeks, these potholes have worsened. The department conducted an assessment of the potholes, and in the interest of the community, a temporary solution has been opted for to resolve this urgent situation while awaiting the start of the maintenance project. Yesterday, the Department of Infrastructure Management, as well with the contractor, started the works, which should be completed by the end of this week. I would also like to add that the road maintenance project is expected to begin soon. It is our intention and our goal to have this started by the end of this year. The ministry also plans to secure machinery with the intention for the department to conduct minor road repairs when necessary for us to cut costs in the future. Where it relates to the Department of Permits, we have seen a significant increase in building permit requests in the third quarter of this year compared to the second quarter. There have been 83 building permit requests, of which 37 have been issued in the third quarter. The task force continues to work diligently to support the workload within the department to achieve our goal in generating much needed revenue for our country. The department is considered one of the primary income generating departments for the ministry, and it's imperative to maintain an optimal level of functionality. I'm very pleased with how well this process has been going thus far, and I would like to commend the task force for their continuous efforts. Additionally, the Department of Permits has issued a list of outstanding building permits which are pending collection. This list can be accessed on the government's website. It comprises of over 100 outstanding permits dating back to 2018. The Department of Permits is actively working to reduce the backlog of outstanding payments and issued building permits, as well as the processing and promptness of incoming permit requests. I'm hereby urging those with outstanding building permit payments to satisfy the outstanding remittance and collect their official building permit.
And still to come, member of the Sint Maarten Anti-Poverty Platform says we don't have a Minister of Labor, we have a Minister of Public Health. I'll have the details to that story and much more when SXM Daily News returns.
GEBE has been faithfully serving the communities of St. Martin, powering your home and our economy. Come rain or shine, our qualified team of professionals are working hard 24 hours a day to provide you and your family with safe, reliable electricity and water. We use the latest technologies and test our products daily to maintain the highest international standards. Our friendly staff is always there to assist you, whether in person, over the phone, or online. We are committed to constantly improving our products and services, making them more efficient, effective, and environmentally friendly to serve you better today and our next generation of clients tomorrow. GEBE, powering a brighter future.
Our friend Megawati is here with tips to save you energy. 1. Turn your airco temperature up. 2. Use a ceiling fan instead. 3. Buy energy-saving products. Save some green with NVGEBE.
Welcome back, viewers. You're watching SXM Daily News, and I am Valerie Van Putten. As we continue now in COVID-related news, as of November the 18th, there were 10 persons who tested positive for COVID-19. However, there was a recovery rate of 7 persons, bringing the total active cases to 66. The total number of confirmed cases is now 964. The Collective Prevention Services, CPS, are monitoring 60 people in home isolation. 6 patients remain hospitalized at the St. Martin Medical Center. The total number of deaths due to COVID-19 remains at 24. The number of people recovered since the first case surfaced on St. Martin has increased to 874. 157 people are in quarantine based on contact tracing investigations carried out by CPS of persons who may have been in contact with any of the active cases. CPS has tested 1,334 travelers arriving at the Princess Juliana International Airport and 7,123 people throughout the community. As the numbers continue to fluctuate, CPS will continue to actively execute its contact tracing measures. Meanwhile, when quizzed on Wednesday at the Council of Ministers' weekly press briefing by the Voice of St. Martin, Stephen Cerillion, about the availability of the vaccine and how soon will the Caribbean Netherlands be able to receive it, the Minister of the SR said that there had been initial discussions with the Netherlands and that the Netherlands have already put out buy orders to the relevant vaccine producers.
Discussion that the Kingdom partners have concerning medical issue, it was brought up that the Kingdom, in this case being the Netherlands, has already put out buying orders to the relevant vaccines producers, the pharmaceuticals that are, like for instance, the Pfizer and the Moderna, that most people that are following the news concerning the vaccines will know about, that they have bought into those vaccines. And as agreed upon, that the Kingdom partners, so all the territories within the Kingdom, the Netherlands, St. Martin, Aruba, and Curacao, will take part in the buy-in of the Netherlands. So yes, there is agreements reached within the Kingdom. There was also the possibility to do with PAHO, but seeing that the probability that it will be released in Europe, and seeing that in Europe as common, they will be buying in more, and it will be released. When the vaccine is ready, the issue will become then, where will it be released to and what will be the amount to? And for St. Martin, it's naturally very important that we know when it is released, how fast we can get it to our shores. So that is what the decision making in this case have to be about. And then you have to make sure that you can get the vaccine as fast as possible. Because if you know, even if, say, vaccine X gets to be approved by all to be used at the end of November, it'll take some time before that it will be available to any country for them to be using. That's why, for instance, in this case, the Netherlands has buy the rights to the vaccines in different pharmaceutical industries, so that when it becomes available, they can get it as soon as possible.
And as we continue now with more news, member of the anti-poverty platform, Dr. Randus Raymond Gisseroen, is very upset with the Minister of VSA regarding the number of people that have been laid off. Mr. Gisseroen wanted to know how many workers have been dismissed and how many workers have had their salary cut. According to the member of the anti-poverty platform, he said, apparently, we don't have a Minister of Labor. We have a Minister of Public Health. And he expounded further.
Remember that one of your colleagues of the press asked in a press conference, Minister of Labor, how many workers were dismissed, how many workers were cut in their salaries, and all of that. Well, apparently, we don't have a Minister of Labor. We have a Minister of Public Health. Because he can tell you how much people are being affected by a virus, such a small, you can't see it, but that virus is affecting people. But he can't find out how many people are affected by employers who are abusing the situation. He brought some figures that the Minister of Finance provided because of subsidies that they were giving in the stimulus plan. But these are people that have applied for the payroll support, that is the employers. And then to double check if the employees got that money, that is not provided to SZV to do. And the minister has nobody in his department to go and check if the laborers got the full pay amount that was agreed upon for the months of April and May. So what you see is this. The virus we want to control, but we don't want to control the employers that's abusing the situation. The virus we want to get under control and, make sure that it doesn't affect too much people, because we don't have enough ICU beds. But apparently in St. Martin, we have enough homes to keep people in poverty. We have enough homes for people to come home with cuts in their salaries. And we know about these situations when workers affiliated to the union come. But we know of a lot of workers, they are working in the so-called informal sector, not registered at SZV, not registered with nobody, and they also talk about the cuts, the layoffs that they have experienced. So when we look at this situation here in St. Martin, right, we need a Minister of Labor. And we need a Minister of Labor to protect the labor laws, apply the labor laws, and protect the workers against these abuses. We can speak out on behalf of the poor and the needy. We can speak out as we have been doing. But these people, elected and appointed officials, are being paid a $10,000 salary a month to do what? Only to control a virus?
And in more health-related news, the St. Martin Medical Center has taken note of the news emerging from Italy that Cinso, that general contractor for the St. Martin General Hospital, the SMGH, has been sold to the Fincantieri Group recently. The sale includes Fincantieri's commitment to take on all of Inso's projects, which includes the construction of the new hospital. The Fincantieri Group, which had a 5.8 billion euro turnover in 2019 and is widely known for its shipbuilding activities and infrastructure projects, will proceed with the establishment of a new company under its subsidiary Fincantieri Infrastructure, in which it will hold 90% of the shares, and remaining shares will be held by the Tuscany regional government. The sale includes a Fincantieri to take over all current orders of the INSO portfolio, which includes the construction of the St. Martin General Hospital and all staff for a minimum of 3 years. The sale of INSO is a result of the restructuring of its parent company, Condotte Acqua, through a so-called Extraordinary Administrative Procedure, EAP, backed by the Italian government, which it and all of its subsidiaries, including INSO, entered into at the end of 2018. 3 extraordinary commissioners were appointed by the Italian government and had the executive powers to run INSO ever since. The main reasons for INSO to seek protection under the EAP procedure were financial problems at the parent company level. Condotte has sustained a considerable loss for one large project in Italy, a railroad station in Florence, which has since been cancelled by the Italian government. The EAP provides organization protection against creditors and banks for the debts incurred until the commencement date of the EAP. Those debts will be paid from the proceeds from the sale of the company. Medical Director at the St. Martin Medical Center, Dr. Felix Holliday, stated that St. Martin Medical Center does have the option to accept the buyer under our agreement with the EAP commissioners, and we look forward to a meeting in the near future to discuss the opportunity to discuss with such an established large shipbuilding and infrastructure contractor what has been a mutually beneficial continuation into INSO under its new ownership. Now, turning to our weather forecast for November the 19th, 2020. Lingering moisture in the wake of a tropical wave could produce a few brief isolated showers across the local area. Meanwhile, breezy conditions are expected from Friday as the pressure gradient across the region increases. Additionally, moderate to locally rough marine conditions are expected to begin affecting our shores from Friday and continue through the weekend. Small craft operators and sea bathers should exercise caution. So the outlook through Saturday midday, partly cloudy with local showers possible. Now let's turn to your 3-day forecast. And still to come, member of the Anti-Poverty Platform says the labor laws should be upgraded to fit the reality of the times. And I'll have the details of that story and more when SXM Daily News returns.
The innovative Banco Matico contactless smart card. Your Banco Matico smart card is now equipped with a contactless feature for payments, so get ready to tap and go. Contactless payments are fast, easy, secure, and accepted worldwide at all Maestro-enabled contactless terminals. Tap for transactions equivalent to or less than 100 NAF, or the US dollar equivalent. You will receive notifications via email anytime you tap. Tap, tap, and pay fast with WIB. For more information, visit our website at wib-bank.net. Tap and go with your partner in progress.
Welcome back, viewers. This is SXM Daily News. As we continue now in other news, As a number of workers from Port Coopercoy have been laid off, President of the WIFL Union, Theophilus Thompson, addressed their plight at today's Anti-Poverty Platform's weekly press briefing. According to the WIFL's president, the management of Port Coopercoy is totally ignoring the rights of workers, even though they had a referendum.
One of the things that we have always said to all workers, never sign for any cut in your rights, benefits, or salaries. Never do that, regardless of what they might say. We know many have been encouraged by government subsidizing, and some receive the subsidies, but instead of sharing with the workers what is due to them, they keep it for themselves. We have had a situation, and I will just give an example of a recent, before I came here, I was called by one of my shop stewards in Port Coopercoy, where that group of management are totally ignoring the rights of workers. We have had a referendum. They were called by the Labor Office. They refused to show up to those meetings. Referendum was held, and they refused, according to law, to even show up to the referendum. Now what they're doing, they're threatening the workers by sending some home and want to employ an employment agency or outsourcing workers to those companies. Some of those workers have worked for years, over 10 years. And those, that company have refused even to put in the correct documentation for those workers so that they can have their proper status, especially those who are migrants. And migrant workers have rights. It's in the UN Charter, it's in the ILO conventions, signed off by the Netherlands, and I hope that our parliament and our politicians understand those rights of workers. All workers have rights.
And as we end this edition of SXM Daily News for this evening, addressing the labor laws and the current developments, member of the Anti-Poverty Platform, Mrs. Claire Elshot, speaking at the St. Martin Anti-Poverty Platform weekly press briefing earlier today, was asked about the current labor law situation and if the labor laws needs to be revised. According to Mrs. Elshot, based on the developments, the labor law should be upgraded to fit the reality of the times.
I definitely, we are very much concerned, and I definitely think based on the development that the labor laws should be actually upgraded to fit the reality of these times and to protect, not only to upgrade it just like that, but to protect the workers against these type of violations, especially seeing the fact that people were just dumped into this situation, no preparation, and their salaries were being not even withheld, cut, and even up to today, there are people that haven't been paid salaries dating back from March, April coming down. So therefore, we do have the need and the urge to say that we can demand that these laws be updated to ensure that the social protection floor are also for workers and to be able to defend the rights of workers on the labor market in the cases of hurricanes and pandemics.
And with that, viewers, it concludes this edition of SXM Daily News for this evening. I am Valerie Van Putten, thanking you so much for tuning in this evening. And just a reminder that this and other programs are available online. Simply log on to stmartinmediacenter.com for viewing. And on behalf of the SXM Daily News team, we thank you so much for watching and plan on meeting you right back here again tomorrow.